Jet fans, I won't lie. We were kicked in the nads yesterday. We thought it was going to be a seismic day in a good way for our Jets, but instead Dante Moore did a Sports Center LeBron James special to say, actually, I'm staying in school. So what does it mean? Where do we go now? I've brought in one of my favorite best draft experts to answer a lot of those questions and do a live 2-round mock draft. 4 new players for the Jets. We're going to talk about it. Boy Green friggin' Daily starts right now.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. If you're coming on in on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, but appreciate no matter where you're watching. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, the YouTube replay for people that watch it at a different time, and, of course, our audio-only listeners will walk you through this entire process. Again, the news yesterday was a cuppa suck, extra suck sauce, with more suck for the Jets on that Dante Moore decision. But how big of a deal was it? We need answers, and there's a guy that can provide them. Plus, we'll do a 2-round mock draft live here on the program. You know, sometimes when Gotham needs help, they put out the Batman signal, and he comes running in a cape. But for me, when the Jets are in need of draft expertise, there's one man to go to, and his name is Ryan Roberts. And his handle is perfect. Rise and draft, because that's exactly what we're going to be asking him to do here on this program. Let's bring him in. He is a college football and NFL draft analyst for A to Z Sports, baby. And he's going to have to give us the A to Z on what the hell just happened with Dante Moore. Let's bring him in. Ryan Roberts, baby. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Paul. Hey, I think I was just compared to Batman, so it's a good start to the border, brother. How are you?
There you go. You're welcome. Well, again, I'm not sure how to feel, to be honest with you, because to me, the initial reaction to Dante Moore's decision sucks for the Jets, because whether they wanted him and maybe a franchise quarterback that a lot of draft people I love in the business said, oh, yeah, he was definitely worthy of being a top 2 pick in this draft is what they told me. I'm like, okay, I trust your opinions. Or even if they judged him and said, you know what, we don't like him, I'm sure someone else would have, so they could have traded that pick for a bounty. So him returning to school feels like a double dose of bad news for the Jets. How bad is it, though, Ryan? You cover this. You're an NFL draft expert. You tell me, how big of a deal is Dante Moore not entering the draft from a Jets perspective?
I mean, it sucks for the short term in the 2026 NFL draft for sure. I think the positive that the Jets do have is you have the 5 first rounders over the next 2 years. So it's not like you were full on number 2 overall pick or nothing. And that is the future of the franchise. So I think that there is some positivity to the negative situation, but like for the short term, I don't think you're going to find an absolute answer to what the future of the quarterback position is in the 2026 NFL draft, more than likely, because now it's a one-person race at quarterback, and there's a whole lot of nothing, because it's not even just Dante Moore. It's Dante Moore goes back, which a lot of people actually expected. Like, there's been kind of talks about this for like a couple months. Like, this wasn't like a foregone conclusion that he was going to go, even when he was considered, and he was going to be a top 2 NFL draft pick, more than likely, at least a top 6 NFL draft pick without question. But the other problem is that the commodities that we thought could be in this type of conversation going into the year either got hurt or didn't play well, like a Drew Aller or Garrett Nussmeier, or a Brendan Sorsby, who's a very talented quarterback out of Cincinnati, who could have been a borderline first rounder, decided to go into the transfer portal and ended up at Texas Tech, or guys like Trinidad Chambliss, who might end up being in part of this quarterback conversation, or trying to get another year of eligibility. So like it has been, and Ty Simpson's not necessarily fully on the table either, even though he's declared, he's in the draft, but there's people trying to pull him out of the draft with some NIL compensation from like Tennessee and a couple other programs. So it has been just kind of a slow burn of a lot of bad quarterback news for the 2026 NFL draft, and the fact that there's no quarterback up top outside of Fernando Mendoza, the Jets don't have much leverage to trade down unless there's a team that says, hey, we want Arvell Reese, we want Ruben Bain, we want David Bailey, we want somebody at number 2 overall, because that's what's going into the disfavor of the, I don't even know if that's a word, but it's going against the New York Jets right now as well, is that there's not really a ton of blue chips in this class either. The only arguable blue chips are linebackers and a running back. So in that instance, like, you're in a tough spot from a trade down perspective.
All right. I don't want to be a negative Nelly because my life is glass half full. I approach my life that way. I approach my Jets fandom that way and a lot of different things. But you just mentioned it, right? The 2026 draft isn't what we thought it was going to be. A year ago, people said, Paul, you need a quarterback. No problem. Nussmeier, this guy. Yeah, you're going to be just Andy. Then we get to this point like, oh, sorry, Paul, this quarterback class stinks. And you don't have the number 1 pick. So the one guy you could have got, you can't get. So I don't mean to be a negative Nelly here, but what are the chances of that happening once again in 2027? You just you spit out a lot of names. There's Julian Sand. There's another Manning, for God's sakes. They're growing off trees. I mean, we have all these names. What if a year from now we get there and go, actually, all these guys imploded? Like, what are the chances of that happening?
I mean, I'm fully hesitant on the next year's better crowd just consistently because we have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, to your point, right? Not only do players descend, I mean, I think mostly we think like, oh, either players are going to stagnate or they're going to get better. Well, not always. Some players get worse. I mean, it happens every single year. So like, players can have dissension as prospects, and then also injuries can happen. Like, there's a lot of things, and sometimes, and this is the media and public side of thing, we create these spectacles of these players sometimes where it's like, oh, that guy's a can't miss player next year, and it's like, I think we were just kind of watching it from fan goggles, and we haven't actually do our due diligence to watch the film, and the NFL might have a very different opinion on a player as well. So I'm always hesitant for it, Paul, but like also I'm not going to force the issue in 2026 if there's not a player that I truly believe in, right? Like, I think there's some interesting players like if a Trinidad Chambliss is there on day 2 out of Ole Miss and he ends up being in this class, I think that's an interesting dart throw. And honestly, if Jets or any other program take a swing on a quarterback on day 2 and he doesn't end up being good, no one's going to remember in a few years. Like, they're just not going to, because that's a low value dart throw for a very high value position. Like, people do people remember that Jimmy Clausen was drafted with the second round pick by the Carolina Panthers? Yeah. No, because they got Cam Newton. Like, they don't care about that. That stuff happens all the time. So there are also some value dart throws that you can take in this class, but there's no guy at number 2 now that you say that's the quarterback of the future for the New York Jets, barring the Raiders doing something very strange at number 1, which I don't think they're going to do something very strange at number 1, but they kind of hold the key to the chaos a little bit before the Jets have to figure out what the heck they're going to do at number 2.
All right, so we will do a live 2-round mock draft on this show, and just a 2-round mock draft. Jets have 4 picks in the top 44, and we'll pick them as is, but I will give the glass half full perspective that someone could have, because if Dante Moore entered this class, it was very likely the Jets were going to take him number 2 overall, and he was going to be now this ticking clock at quarterback that the Jets, all right, here's our guy, and number 2 overall pick and $50 million is a lot of money and investments in this guy. Now that he's removed from the table, it doesn't appear, and you've seemingly indicated that, quarterback is not going to rise to this process, become a number 2 overall pick because Dante Moore isn't there. So now, in theory, the Jets will be forced to build out this roster. They're like, damn it, well, we can't pick a quarterback. Well, we have 3 first-round picks in 2027. We'll figure that out next year. Let's just build up this team because they're 3-14. They've got plenty of needs, which we're about to get to in our live mock draft situation. Is that the silver lining? That maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Now the Jets will have no choice. There is no candy that the Jets, a quarterback. Now they have to eat their veggies and they have to build out this roster and do the proper things here. They don't even have the temptation of taking said quarterback unless they just really go crazy. So is that maybe a silver lining? Blessing in disguise? Bullet dodges? Am I making this up? Am I grasping at straws? Or is this legitimate thing for Jet fans to sort of cling on to here?
If you're a draft nerd like me, this is the dream right now, right? Like, you have the chance to take best player available for the foreseeable future until you find your quarterback in 2027 potentially, or you find it in some other avenue, maybe even further down into the 2026 NFL draft. So For me, I think absolutely. I mean, look, because initially, I think Paul, like when most people saw after the Quinnen and Sauce trades, they're like, okay, you got 5 first-round picks because you're getting ammunition to be able to get your quarterback, right? Like that was kind of the ideology that a lot of people had, and I'm sure there's a lot of validity to it. But ideological shifts happen all the time. So the minute that happened, if I'm the New York Jets and I'm that front office, I'm saying, you know what? Even if our initial ideology was we're going to get as much draft capital as possible to get a quarterback this year, maybe, just maybe, we can finagle this thing, change our ideology, and say, hey, we are going to now utilize all of this capital to be able to build up a roster to be a more sustainable product for whatever quarterback ends up being our long-term answer. So I think your shift can happen here. You go from quarterback ammunition to let's build up this roster, the best case scenario, because there is value to be had. It's not a great draft overall, just from a, like, the pure top is not great from a blue chip perspective. And then like when you get into second, third round mock drafts, and unfortunately that's the business I'm in, it gets really hard, man. Like there's like a couple kids I drafted like in the second round of a mock recently where I'm just like, man, I'd rather take this kid in like the early 4th round than the late 2nd round. But like this is just the draft we're in, unfortunately. But that being said, there's value to be found everywhere, right? Like every single round, there's going to be a player that you find that is a value play that you said that guy was undervalued for X, Y, and Z reason. You have to be a little bit of a draft nerd. You got to be a little bit of a draft nick throughout this process, I think, a little bit creative in some instances, but there is certainly value to be found. And if you're the Jets, they are a roster that has a lot of needs, and I do think that you can find value throughout to help that roster.
Well, we're about to find out if that is indeed true. Folks, we're about to do a 2-round live mock draft here on the show. Ryan Roberts, congratulations. You're a new general manager. So you're going to be making these picks. And what my sole purpose is, I can provide positional needs for the Jets, and everything is what they need. So you're welcome for that insight. And we'll also take any comments from the fans in the middle of this, but you make the picks, and I may ask you when you're ready to make a selection, play our draft traps, because I love hearing those, and then get some explanation for you on these picks. So you're at the controls. 4 picks inside the top 44. They have 2, 16, 33, and 44, and that is what we will do. Ryan, are you ready to dive into the deep end of the pool?
Let's do it, man. I'm sure the comments will love some of these picks. Let's do it.
Oh, there's no question about that. So again, we're going to be using the PFF mock draft machine. We're going to keep the speed fast, 2 rounds, and then 50-50 for all the other settings outside of randomness, which I've tested that out a few times. We should probably avoid that entirely. So we'll start the draft, and of course, Fernando Mendoza went number 1 overall, as expected. So now what the hell did the Jets do here, Ryan Roberts?
I think there's a couple of interesting ways to go, right? Like wide receivers, an interesting discussion with, pairing someone potentially with Garrett Wilson. And if there was a conversation point about whoever the quarterback is long-term, loading up a wide receiver talent, pass catching, skill talent around them just overall would be an interesting conversation point. But I'm going to stick to my guns here for the player that I do think is a top 2 player in this class. And I'm going to go with Arvell Reese, who is the linebacker edge out of Ohio State. I know it's going to be a controversial pick to a degree because he is viewed by some as a little bit of a tweener, but I believe that this kid is a plus starting Pro Bowl Mike linebacker on the NFL level who also has the capabilities to be a really impactful rusher in sub package, could play off the edge, could blitz from internally from inside gaps. Like, I think that this kid has the ability to be an absolute game changer on the NFL level. And so, yeah, I know some people aren't going to love it, and it is what it is, and drafting a Mike linebacker number 2 overall isn't perfect. I would love to trade back in this spot if I possibly could, if there was some type of trade bait that you can make, but I am going to stick to the guns and say if I'm going to take best player available, I will take Arvell Reese with Fernando Mendoza off the board.
All right, so let's do this. Overall pick in this 2-round mock draft. We'll take linebacker Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. And I'll do a quick follow-up here, and then we'll get to pick 16, which the Jets acquired from the Indianapolis Colts in the Sauce Gardner trade here. For Arvell Reese, what is he? Because you just sort of described him there. Because if you look at numbers, some people view him as an edge rusher, and then they see 7 career sacks. They're like, what the? But then he was a part-time player that became a full-time player. He was a part-time player on that national championship team, and then eventually became a full-time player. So when you sort of walk through the chess piece that he is and where you see him fitting at the next level. Because Jets have needed off-ball linebacker straight up. They have needed edge rusher. So they sort of have needs all over the place. And the Jets don't have a freaking defensive coordinator right now. So we don't even know schematically sort of what we're going for here either. So if you could provide a little more on our race positionally.
Well, I think the great thing about him is that he does have the versatility to play in multiple defenses. This isn't a guy that's just like a one-size-fit-all and you can't find other ways around him. You can let him fit what defensive philosophy wants to be. So whether you're a 4-3 base, a 3-4 base, you play pure nickel, like, and most teams do play just pure nickel, pure sub at this point. This is a player that I think could just do a lot of different things. And when Matt Patricia asked him to be an attack style player, which we saw mostly in the first half of the season, not as much during the second half, this kid is big, 6'4", 245. He's explosive. And I do think that he's a much better change of direction athlete than a lot of people are going to give him credit for, which is why I think that people have kind of painted him as this edge. You can play him on the edge if you want, and I think that he has upside there. But I think that this, again, is a Pro Bowl, potential All-Pro inside linebacker that can do a lot of different things for you. Had 6.5 sacks this past year for Ohio State as well. So whether you want to blitz him from an interior gaps, whether you want to work him off the edge and sub, I think that he can do a little bit of everything. But he is a true linebacker to me that can do a lot of different things from a blitz perspective.
All right, now let me do a quick follow because this guy is not available at 16, so we won't have any chance to talk about him unless I bring him up. For those who don't know, Ryan Roberts is on top of all the wonderful things I said, which is true, college football analyst, NFL draft analyst, and A to Z Sports. He has Notre Dame blood running through his veins just like I do. And there is a fan in our audience, Luby Super Jets fan. I see him in here. He has fallen in love with Jeremiah Love, and he wants Jeremiah Love, and we don't know the future of Breece Hall, who could be tagged or could just walk out as a free agent. In this mock, he won't be available at 16. You tell me, what is the story here in Jeremiah Love? Because positional value, people kill this guy for positional value, but I freaking love Jeremiah Love. I love seeing him when I went to South Bend. He gave me all the restaurant tips, and then he gave me the Jeremiah Love tips, running 200 yards all over the place, 50, 80-yard touchdowns all over the place, which was a lot of fun. Where do you think he's going to go in this draft? What is ceiling? You could see him going as high as this. Floor, you could see him as going as low as that, because I think some people, if there's any Jeremiah Love slippage, that Jets in theory could move up from 16 to secure one Jeremiah Love. What's your thoughts of Jeremiah Love from your Notre Dame insights?
This is, well, Paul, this is why this draft is so weird, is that, excuse me, you can make a legit argument that the 3 best players in this class are 2 linebackers, Arvell Reese's teammate, Sonny Styles. Like, you can make it, or you could also say the safe. Like, either way, you're probably the top 4 players in this class, more than likely, depending on how you break it, is a couple linebackers, a safety, and a running back. Like, and that is low value positions, which why this class is so strange. But I do think that there's a real world where when you don't bake in positional value, because obviously positional value is going to knock running backs down the board, they're going to knock safeties down the board, they're even going to knock linebackers down the board. You can make a real argument that Jeremiah Love is a top 2 player in this class. Raw grade, what he is as a player, potential Pro Bowler. I think that he is Alvin Kamara with more juice, is kind of how I would phrase him. He can catch the football out of the backfield. He's got a denser frame than you probably would anticipate watching him on the broadcast film, but he has home run explosiveness. He can change direction as well as any running back that you're going to see for a 215-pound running back. He can make guys miss in tight quarters. He gets up to top speed in a hurry, and then he's got 10.5, 10.600 meter speed in high school, and he was just doing it just to stay in shape, right? So, like, this kid is a absolute freak of nature, and I do think he's one of the blue chip potential players in this class. 214, 215 pounds, blazing speed, physical, and also he's a really good pass blocker, too. Like, he takes the little things very seriously. So, I think that Jeremiah Love is a fantastic player. I do think he's a blue chip player in this class. It's just unfortunate some people are going to knock him because he just naturally does play the running back position.
All right, I'll do this one time where I read all the picks that happen between 2 and 16 just for the sake of the Jets. We won't keep doing that throughout this mock draft, but Arvell Reese went number 2 overall, of course, to the Jets, linebacker of Ohio State. Caleb Downs, Ohio State safety, defensive back, went 3rd overall to the Arizona Cardinals. Ruben Bain, the Miami defender, went 4th overall to the Tennessee Titans. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver out of Arizona State, went to the New York Giants, 5th overall. Our guy Jeremiah Love went to the Cleveland Browns, 6th overall, the Notre Dame running back. David Bailey, the pass rusher out of Texas Tech, went to the Commanders, 7th overall. overall. Cardinal Tate, Ohio State wide receiver, went to the New Orleans Saints at 8th overall. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson, went to the Chiefs with the 9th overall pick. Mekhi Lemon, USC wide receiver, to the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamal McCoy, the quarterback out of Tennessee, went to the Miami Dolphins. 12th overall, Sonny Styles, Ohio State linebacker. A lot of Ohio State here. We have Keldrick Falk. He went to the LA Rams, 13th overall. Cassius Howell, edge rusher out of Texas A&M, went 14th overall to the Ravens. And finally, Mansour Delane, the LSU cornerback, went 15th overall to the Bucs. So now we're here with the Jets, their second first-round draft choice. And again, we will get all 4 picks inside the top 44 here on this mock draft. What the hell do you do here as a Jets, as you're making the picks for the Jets here at 16th overall? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking of?
Well, unfortunately, I think you're hoping that either Peter Woods or Mansour Delane are still on the board at that point. Unfortunately, in this mock simulator, that did not happen, which messes things up a little bit if you're a Jets fan, obviously. I would like to look at the wide receiver board if I could real quick, because I think that that's an intriguing way to go. Like, I'm not as high on Denzel Boston as some people are. I think that Casey Concepcion, maybe a couple spots a little higher than maybe I would want to take, is a very interesting player potentially in this spot. And actually, just kind of rolling through it in my mind here for a second, I think that's where I am going to go, is Casey Concepcion, who's the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Again, like, I would rather get him in the 20s, Paul, but I do think that there is legitimacy to whoever the quarterback is long-term for the New York Jets. Let's load up as much talent as possible around him. And Garrett Wilson is a player that can play a little bit inside and out. He has that upside to be a Z. He has the upside, obviously, to play in the slot at times if you need him to do that. But he is a 3-level separator. KC is a different athlete. He was formerly at NC State, about 5'11", 190-something pounds, not the biggest guy in the world, but kid is lightning after the catch. Great with the football in his hands in space. Has good long speed as well. I anticipate him running probably 4.3 high, somewhere like 4.38-ish in the 40-yard dash if he tests in this process. So whoever the quarterback is for the future, at least he's got a couple very talented wide receivers to be able to work with.
No doubt. Here we go. First round of this 2-round mock draft. The New York Jets select KC Concepcion, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M, add another pass catcher for whoever the hell is going to be playing quarterback for the New York Jets. Now we jump to the second round. This is one of my favorite picks in the draft. Regardless if I was a Jets fan or not, I just love this pick. You reset, day one's over, first round's over, day two is second and third round, and you get to just marinate on everything. And always guys slip that should have been first round picks. They slip to this pick. So this is a very valuable pick. Could be a trade. We won't do that today, but it could be a trade situation for somebody. 33rd overall, BPA can happen here. Again, what's the thought process here at 33 here, Ryan?
I would like to look at the D tackle board and then the corner board if I could, just see kind of who's best available at those.
Let's go defensive tackle here. Does anything?
Nope.
We got Lee Hunter.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Not
so immediately get out.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yes, get out of there. Yes, get out of there.
Okay. All right. And what was the other one? You said corner.
Corner. Yeah, we'll take a look at corner board. See what that looks like.
Okay.
Don't like that either. Oh man, we're not doing great here, Paul. We're not doing great here.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to. I'm thinking about taking the Trinidad Chambliss plunge. Let's take at the quarterback board real quick. Let's see if Ty Simpson's still there as well. There might be. Yeah,
so
Ty's
Ty
gone.
Simpson is gone, but Trinidad is here.
Why not? It's good for content, right? Let's go with Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback on Ole Miss. Why not? Let's take the second round plunge.
Okay, beautiful. So, give us the story. Some of our audience are massive Trinidad fans. They know who he is. Give it to us, because like age, height, weight, and he apparently loves school more than anyone I've ever known in my life, which I can only respect, I suppose. But what's the story here on Trinidad?
So I thought when Trinidad, so the full story is he's a Ferris State and he is a national championship quarterback. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, they thought their quarterback was going to be Austin Simmons going into the year. Austin Simmons, I knew people were going to hate this mock draft, and it's okay. It's all right. Promise, we'll be all right here. Austin Simmons got hurt early. Trinidad Chambliss came in, and the offense was just worlds better with Trinidad, and he quickly became the guy. And even when Austin Simmons was quote unquote healthy enough to play, there was just no way that you could take Trinidad Chambliss out of the starting spot. He had done such a tremendous job for the Ole Miss offense. And he's extremely interesting, Paul, because when I first started watching him, it was just on broadcast. I hadn't broken down the all 22 film yet on him early in the season because I just assumed, and this is an assumption that some people are going to make, is that he was just a really good college quarterback and he's a fun story and blah, 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 blah. Well, when I watched him, I was extremely impressed. A lot more than I thought I was, because a couple things that I thought were better than I anticipated was knowing that he has a little bit of that dual threat element to him. Your preconceived notion is that maybe he isn't a great processor. He doesn't go through reads. He's a little bit of a run, a one read and run type of quarterback. That's kind of the assumptions that are made. And especially in the Lane Kiffin offense, which is very one read centric anyway, like that, I think that was an understandable reason to think. But when you watch him, he's very pocket centric. Like, he's not a guy that just wants to get out of the pocket immediately and make plays with his legs. He is a good athlete, obviously, but there is a quarterback there. There's a mind there. There's a mental side of the game there that is extremely intriguing to me. And I think especially when you pop on the Miami tape, especially, there were a couple throws that require legitimate pace on the football and the ability to put heat on it. And there was one throw, I think it was like an inside seam later in the game against Miami where, I mean, you're working with a linebacker on the kid's inside shoulder, the wide receiver, and there's a safety coming over top playing like a mid-hole type of coverage. And he is able to put this ball in between the linebacker and safety in a very tight window where I'm like, okay, this isn't a kid that just has, like, he's a fun and gun. Like, he's a college quarterback. Like, there is legitimate NFL makeup here in terms of talents. So I have kind of come full circle with Trinidad. I would be okay with the team investing a day 2 pick with him. Is 33 a touch high? Yes, 33 is a touch high, but he's a quarterback. There's a quarterback tax that happens every single year. And when the D-tackle board was the way it was, the cornerback board was the way it was, I would rather just take the swing here. So was it a position that I wanted to necessarily value at this spot initially? No. But with how the board fell, I will take the second round gamble on a quarterback, because if you end up getting the first overall pick next year or a top 3 pick and you have a quarterback that you want, no one's going to remember about Trinidad Chambliss in a couple years if you hit on that quarterback. Like, that's kind of the full story here, right? But I do think there's enough makeup and there's enough upside to invest in a Trinidad Chambliss, because I do think that he has some NFL qualities to him, a lot more than I thought initially before watching him fully.
And I know that hurt both me, you, and Mel Kiper, the Jimmy Clausen comparison you gave, because I love Jimmy Clausen. I thought he was going to be terrific in the NFL. And then Cam Newton came in, and I'm like, well, that was fun, Jimmy. So here we go. First pick in the second round in this 2-round mock draft simulation for the New York Jets. Ryan Roberts has selected for the Jets Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. There you go. And there's one last pick to get to here before we sign off for this part of the conversation, and that is the 44th overall pick. The Jets got this from the Dallas Cowboys. They have 4 picks inside the top 44. How are we rounding out this mock draft? Again, what's the thought process here, Ryan?
Yeah, I would like to look at the D tackle and cornerback board again. I do think those are two needs, obviously, that are on the table, but depends who is there.
Okay. Here's your defensive tackle. Okay. Does anything tickle your fancy?
I just don't love this board. Don't love the board. Okay. No. I
like
Lee Hunter, but 44 is just a touch high for Lee Hunter.
Okay.
So.
And then what was your other corner you said?
Corner. Yeah, we'll take a look at corner. Maybe safety too, depending on what the corner board looks like.
Okay.
Man, this draft has not fallen for us.
Okay, I appreciate the honesty.
Let's look at safety. Let's look at safety. Maybe there's a safety that tickles my fancy at 44.
Okay. Oh, kicker. Whoops. Well, I guess I could also put the board with Nick Folk. Apparently with we're pondering retirement. I guess we've got to keep that in mind. Okay, here's safeties.
All right, yeah, we'll settle with the safety here. I'm going to go with Dylan Thieneman for the safety from Oregon as my last pick, was formerly at Purdue. We'll take Dylan Thieneman here at 44.
Okay, so first off, let's just hit the chimes real quick. There you heard it again with this last pick of this 2-round mock draft. Again, the 44th overall pick, Ryan Roberts, acting as the Jets GM, has selected Dylan Thieneman here, the safety out of Oregon. Okay, see, we were thinking about Oregon people yesterday, and we ended up with the better guy. So screw you, Dante Moore, you bastard. But all right, give us the thought process here, Ryan, because a lot of people, he entered the draft this week, which became official, and a lot of people really excited about him. Give us the scoop here.
Yeah, I mean, so he was really good mostly at Purdue his first 2 seasons, especially as a freshman. Second year was a little bit up and down, but he was also on one of the worst Purdue teams of all time. Do you want to hear a crazy stat about that Purdue team real
Sure.
quick from
Yeah.
2024? So, Paul, if you would have given that Purdue team a free 34 points before every game started that year, they would have won 6-6. Yes. Yeah, that's a stat. That's a real stat, man. It's a real stat. One of the worst Power 4 teams we have ever seen is that 2024 Purdue team, which is hilarious because there was some NFL talent on that team. I mean, like Max Clare was on that team. Dylan Thieneman was on that team. Cole Brevard, who was a starting D tackle for Texas this past year, was on that Purdue team. Yet that Purdue team was horrible, like an absolute train wreck of a program. But so Thieneman goes to Oregon this year, and I thought he had a little bit of a slower start to the year this year, but during the second half, I mean, he was tremendous for the Ducks, like absolutely tremendous. He's a bigger-ish safety, 6 foot plus. He's 207, 210 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. He's going to play a lot of too high, work down, could play mid-hole. He's pretty physical in and around the line of scrimmage, but he's got better range than I think people are going to give him credit for as well. So, like, this is a very versatile player on the back end, a guy that I think can play too high, can play some single at times, but he's a guy that I think really you want to rob down near the line of scrimmage and kind of get an extra hat in the box at times, but get an extra guy in to be able to jump some passing lanes as well. He's got good ball skills. He's got good ball production in his career, but he's just a really versatile safety, which I think could fit a couple different roles on your defense potentially.
All right, Ryan, as we're finishing up here are the final picks here are all the picks that you made here. PFF, by the way, because I'm sure you care about this, you want to put it on your fridge for mama. PFF gave you a B- for this, so take that for what you will. But to recap, the 4 picks inside the first 2 rounds for the New York Jets. Second overall, first round, linebacker Arvell Reese of Ohio State. At 16th overall, still in the first round, Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver at Texas A&M. And then our 2 second-round picks, quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback, and then at 44th overall, the talented defensive back out of Oregon. And pronounce it for me one more time, Ryan.
What, Dylan Thieneman?
Yeah, I got to work
I think
on
it's
that.
Thieneman. I've heard Thieneman. I've heard Thieneman. I think it's Thieneman.
I have as well. So that's okay. I trust you and yours. Okay. One last comment. And again, Ryan, I appreciate your time for coming on here with all this craziness coming on. So again, you look at this haul now. Now, you are making all the picks in the moment, but now you recap these results here for this Jets 2-round mock draft. You're feeling how? What do you think about this?
I mean, I hate it, Paul. To be honest, I don't think the board. I don't think the board fell well to us at all. Like I really don't. On second thought, I maybe would have taken a wide receiver to kick things off. Maybe like that would have been like my initial thought process. But unfortunately, like the 16th pick, for instance, a couple guys I would have loved to have either Peter Woods, Mansour Delane, or even Mekhi Lemon at that spot at 16. But all 3 of those guys went before the pick. So I was kind of put into a little bit of a no man's land. And same thing with the 33 overall pick. I was hoping that, hey, maybe a Caleb Banks from Florida at defensive tackle fell to that spot. Maybe a Colton Hood, the cornerback from Tennessee, fell to that spot. When neither of those football players were there at 33, and I've done a million mock drafts at this point, when neither one of those guys were there at 33, I'm like, okay, we have to pivot again. So I like the Thieneman pick. I like the Reese pick. I will stand by both those picks, but that 16 and 33 overall selection, admittedly, the board just did not fall the way that I would like it to have fallen.
Which again can totally happen during this process. Well, Ryan, again, thank you. I'm sure I'll tag you on social media and let more people yell at you about that mock draft, which will be terrific later on social media. But Ryan, you're the best, baby. And again, I'm sure this won't be the first time we're chatting draft this offseason. You do awesome work, brother.
I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you so much for having me, especially to wake up in the morning. I'm ready to go for the rest of the day, man. I got the juices flowing now, so I appreciate you.
There you go. The handle, Rise in Draft. Real quick, Ryan, do you want to do any plugs for any draft content or NFL content, college football content you have coming out for A to Z coming up here shortly?
Yeah, I mean, even if people didn't like the mock draft this morning, I promise there's a lot of good content over at A to Z Sports and over at my handle. If you want to go to Rise and Draft on Twitter, that's where all the content gets posted and all that type of stuff. If you want to see film clips, we also have a new YouTube channel we just launched a couple weeks ago. That is called Best Pod Available. If you guys want to search that, it's a full NFL draft show, but A to Z Sports is where you can find all of the content.
All right, beautiful. Ryan, you're the best, baby, and we'll check in down the line. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it, Paul. Have a great day.
Yep, there he is. Ryan Roberts, baby, one of the best in the business. And I saw there's a lot of varying opinions here on that mock draft. Again, here it is. We'll also post it on social media, on Discord, and everywhere else where you guys can share your thoughts on this live results of this 2-round mock draft from our guy, Ryan Roberts. Make sure you support him in all of his work. It was great. I didn't want to do a 2-round mock draft and have 40 picks like Monday, although that was quite an experience, but wanted to get you guys an immediate 2-round mock draft after the Dante Moore news. And we're going to open up the phone lines here in just a minute. We have over 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe on YouTube. We do Jets content every single day here on the channel. I see we had several super chats from Jake Asman, so I wanted to get to them in proper time here. Let's go to Jake Asman's first super chat, which I appreciate all the support on the channel, Mr. Asmaniac himself.
Wow.
Harbaugh, nah. We have Glenn. Oh, yes, Woody. Yes. Yes, in case you guys missed it, the Giants sealed the deal. John Harbaugh is going to sign a 5-year deal to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. He's going to be one of the highest paid coaches in the National Football League. They went all in. They gave him anything and everything he wanted, and it sounds like that deal is going to be official here shortly if it's not already. So congratulations to John Harbaugh. You know, Woody has long had a fascination with the Harbaughs. I believe he was more interested in Jim than John in the past, but still, congrats to the Giants. My radio partner is a diehard Giants fan. He wanted Harbaugh badly. They got Harbaugh, and good for them. They went all in. They got Harbaugh. And yes, Harbaugh's a wonderful coach. He has a 600+ winning percentage. He has a Super Bowl ring on his finger. He had 18 years in Baltimore. 11 of those 18, or let me make sure. I always mess up this stat. 13 of his 18 seasons were winning seasons, and then 11 were double-digit win seasons. So again, he did a marvelous job in Baltimore and spectacular. I get it. A lot of Jet fans are going to be upset about Harbaugh and Tomlin in the future and all these names that they say are big upgrades. I'm sorry, Jet fans, for those who wanted Harbaugh. We did a show on it last week or something. So good for the Giants, though. That is an absolute home run hire. If you're a Giants fan out there, you should be elated over the moon, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the Giants had a very compelling pitch. They have an intriguing quarterback in Jackson Dart. By the way, if we're just comparing situations here, the Jets have no quarterback answer, no short-term quarterback answer, no long-term quarterback answer. That's a total question mark. The Giants, historically speaking, have been a franchise of stability and iconicness. That hasn't really been the case of the last 15 years, sort of the same time frame as us since their Super Bowl in 2011, but they do have that Super Bowl, those Super Bowls over a 4-year, 5-year span in 2007 to 2011 of Eli Manning greatness. So they have that in their back pocket. We don't have that. They have all this talent on defense. They got Malik Neighbors. They've got a lot going for them. That NFC East is tough, but they've got a lot going for them. So congrats to the Giants, and sorry for Jet fans that wanted Harbaugh and no longer have Harbaugh. Another super chat here from Jake, very active this morning.
Wow.
I appreciate all that. By the way, Jake ripped the 7 raffle tickets for our contest this month. More on that in a second. We have Glenn. Have no fear. AG is here. We should put that on a T-shirt, Jake. Throw that on the Jake Asman website. That'd be terrific. I think this is again, you guys can fan however you want to fan. I'm just going to give you my perspective. Aaron Glenn is going to be the head coach for the Jets. That seems as final as possible here halfway through January. With us knowing the knowledge that he's now our head coach, what I want to do is say, how can we make this the best possible situation where we can turn this around? Because I want AG to turn this around. I want him to be able to do this. And I think a big key is the staff. And so far, I checked it this morning, there's been no staff changes by the Jets. Now, there's one of two things that are happening here. Number one, AG is like, I don't need to make changes. My staff's great. And then that's going to make a lot of people upset. Or he's diligently working behind the scenes, and we're not getting a lot of answers publicly, which is frustrating after a 3-14 season. Like, we're not hearing, the Jets are interviewing this guy for defensive coordinator. Oh, the Jets are interviewing this guy for offensive this or offensive that. So now what we have to rely on, which I don't know how this is going to rev with Jet fans in the audience, is just faith. The definition of faith is belief without evidence. So we just have to believe that that again, it's sort of that other quote that we've heard. Don't mistake silence for inactivity. Silence has happened for us for the Jets for last week. We've only heard of one DC interview request. That was Durante from the Minnesota Vikings, and then the Wink Martindale rumors. That's it. That's all we've heard. So, like, besides that, it's been crickets, nothing. But the quote says, don't mistake silence for inactivity. So we just have to hope that's true. And again, if they get a rock star defensive coordinator, then wow, Aaron Glenn has some cachet to be able to deliver one of those guys. So the proof is ultimately going to be in the pudding here. Who can he hire at defensive coordinator? Is he going to make the appropriate staff changes? Again, the big one for me and for a lot of us in the audience is Charles London. He's still on this team. He doesn't seem like he should be leading the quarterback charge. So does he get fired? Does he get reassigned to go pick up coffee or whatever that's going to be in the building? That's a big piece of the puzzle for me. So even as this AG pro guy over here, I need to see massive changes to the staff. I need to see guys leave because I've heard like my sources, like I've heard from people that have sources, Rich Cimini, Connor Hughes, players were rubbed the wrong way by Aaron Curry, our linebackers coach. Players were rubbed the wrong way by Eric Washington, our defensive line coach. And the results also weren't good on the field. So if they were rubbed the wrong way and then things are going really well, you're like, players suck it up. But the product was terrible at off-ball linebacker, and the product was terrible on the defensive line. So those coaches, if they're rubbing people the wrong way and they stink at their job, well, might want to push those guys out. So hopefully we just get like a seismic update one of these days, like boom, boom. The Jets have hired this guy, and then their names. So you're like, I feel pretty confident about that. But that's hard to do right now with what's going on. M. Valette says, who's a rock star defensive coordinator candidate? Brian freaking Flores would be a rock star, superstar hire. He just interviewed for the Commanders job. He's bouncing around for some of these defensive coordinator interviews. He would be an absolute rock star. I would drool on this show if we had Brian Flores. I would be screaming praise from the high heavens. Now, just to answer the question, that would be a rock star hire of a guy that just has a proven track record. As an assistant coach, he has 4 Super Bowl rings, if that does anything for you in the audience. But just the actual raw numbers of takeaway, sacks, pressures, and being a chess master on one side versus the other. Now, again, how likely is Brian Flores coming here? I don't know how likely it is, but you asked who's a rock star defensive coordinator candidate. That would be one. His contract has expired with the Vikings, so he's doing other DC interviews. This is a rare opportunity. Normally, people don't make lateral jumps, but Brian Flores is, of course, exploring the market to see what's out there. So if AG does that, I'm giving AG a ton of flowers for, wow, okay, here we go. Jamal Joseph says Brian Flores should be a head coach. We'll see if he is. He's doing head coaching interviews this offseason, too, so maybe he gets a shot at head coach. So, again, I don't know how likely that is. I'm just saying that would be that'd be a phenomenal hire. So we'll see. But that's what I'm saying. One of the things that would make me feel a lot better is hearing some significant news from staff changes. So that would be one that really revs my engine from that perspective. Seeing the comments here again, we're going to open up the phone lines here in just a minute. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I'll answer more comments, but let's take a quick timeout here. Again, this was our 2-round mock draft. Shout out to our guy, Ryan Roberts, for joining us here on the program. Again, if you don't like the results, we are, at the mercy of the mock draft. What players are available at these picks? It's a live mock draft. It's a machine, so different players pop up in different places. So our guy, Ryan, loved Arvell Reese at 2, and he loved Dylan Thieneman at 44. He didn't love 16 and 33, but he went where the draft took him. So he had a linebacker, wide receiver, quarterback, and a safety, which, by the way, all needs. Jets desperately need off-ball linebacker help. They need wide receiver help. They obviously need quarterback help. They need safety help. So Ryan didn't pick a position off the reservation here. He definitely picked people that we needed. So that makes a lot of sense. Again, folks, make sure you guys get involved with our raffle this month, baby. Oh, yeah. Throughout the rest of January, if you want to get involved in our raffle, all you have to do is spend $3 on the channel, baby, and you will have a chance to win all of these terrific prizes. Let's throw this up on the screen. We have a mint flip coin from this season that comes with a certificate of authenticity for the National Football League, brand new New York Jets polo, brand new New York Jets rivalry hat, part of our Boy Green Woody tailgate package, which has a tailgate t-shirt and koozies and bottle openers and all that stuff. Plus, we have our Boy Green merch shop down below. That's a brand new Boy Green coffee mug and a brand new Boy Green Coffee t-shirt. Both of those items will also be included in our giveaway that we'll be doing on February 1st. So throughout the rest of the month of January, you buy those raffle tickets are $3 a piece. Again, the value you're getting for $3 is unbelievable. It gives you a chance. It's all at random. The random wheel of name spinner will determine who our winner is coming up on February 1st, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then I do want to just do one more plug here, and that is for the brand new Boy Green Espresso Club, baby. So hopefully you guys can jump on the train. We had several jump on the train, which I'm very happy about. Thank you to all the new members here. To the army of growing Boy Green Espresso Club here on the channel, which is great. So, hey, it's growing like nobody's business, which, like I said, I'm very, very excited about. I believe this is our thing. Let me make sure it's the right thing here. Yes, it is. Here you go, folks. We have a new YouTube membership level. If you guys want to be part of the community, the OG is the Boy Green Coffee Club. It's $2.99 a month. You get loyalty badge, emoji, early access to new videos, member shoutouts, and priority replies to comments. And then we have a brand new level. It's called the Boy Green Espresso Club. It's a double espresso shot, baby. It's $5.99. You get members-only shorts, connecting on social media, and members-only live streams, and, of course, all the perks from the previous levels. And we've already done a few of the members-only shorts where I'm talking to you. Only you guys can see it. The public can't see it. The Boy Green Coffee Club can't see it. It's just us having genuine conversations. You had my sleeping son on me. We were talking some Jets and some positivity. But I think the crown jewel of this next level is the members only live streams, where we're going to be able to essentially have that intimate tailgate experience we had in person, but in virtual form once a month. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit that money sign. You can see the memberships levels, or hit the upgrade button in the top right-hand corner. That's another way to jump into the Boy Green Espresso Club, baby, and join the army that's growing here for Boy Green Daily. We'll play a quick HEP timeout, and then your phone calls next here on the show.
1, 2, 3. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
Yeah, let's go, baby. We'll be on for another 30 minutes or so here on the show before I have to do some other interviews on the channel. So we'll try to take as many of your phone calls as possible during this bit. Again, we could do some more reaction, unfortunately, to the Dante Moore news yesterday, whether that's good news, bad news, whatever your perspective is. Again, you can react to the mock draft we just put up. Again, that'll be going out on social media after the show, so the conversation can continue here as well. So feel free, whatever is on your mind, feel free to share. Again, that is the pinned comment on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Let's go to it. Up first is HEP with the Boy Green new coffee mug. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice, right? Right.
Okay, yeah, I love it. What's up, HEP? Good morning.
Good morning. So, as I said, I think this is a 2-year build. I don't know if Glenn had spoke to Woody about it and said, look, I'm going to need a little more time, and this is how it's going to go, because we're not going to finish everything in 1 year. We have too many needs. Yeah. And if it's a 2-year build and we're out 2 years and we still don't even have our quarterback, I say, let's go for the blue chipper. Let's get Love. Let's get him in the house. I mean, if there's only 3 or 4 players that are considered blue chippers, let's get one of them. I mean, we suffered enough, and, and that'll take care of the Brees problem as well. We could clear the $15 million that we probably will have to pay him if he even wants to come. So that would take care of that situation. The hard one for me is 16. That's the tricky one. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's like no man's land in 16 for some reason. I would almost, if we could trade it and get a first for it again next year. I don't know if we could do that.
Interesting. Right. Someone else, I can't remember where that came. We've done so much content the last couple of days, so I'm not sure where it came from, but someone else said that if you can find a way, whether it's trading back from 2 for that to happen or trading 16 or whatever, get another first in 2027. Keep increasing your lottery odds. Get a fourth first round pick and then see what happens, right? Because one of ours will be Cowboys or Packers influence, whoever has the shittier record. The Colts are the Colts, and then our own. And then if you get a fourth lottery ticket as you're trying to figure this out, whether to trade up, again, you just better hope that, teams that are at the top don't need a quarterback, which normally they do, or you get it yourself organically. So I guess that's part of the debate conversation. So yeah, I'd be open to that if, again, as always, who are people moving up for? What is the piece that people are trying to get? So
That's true too.
it could
Yeah.
happen. Could happen.
I don't see us getting a lot of games next year. I mean, we have a really hard schedule. We're playing really really tough divisions and stuff. And in a way, that would suit us if we're planning to win a championship. Not doing well next year will really set us up for the Arch Manning Bowl or whoever it may be,
Yeah.
And I mean, it'll be a tough season to go through, but if we're gonna
We've
set
done it
this,
before, I guess,
yeah,
so
if we're gonna set this ship right and become a winning organization, I guess we had to take it down to the studs and then
yeah.
bring it back up. But and then the second round, I really want to get the best center available and finish
Mhm.
off that offensive line. And I probably would sign ABT. I'm thinking at this point because he seems to like get hurt and then he's good for a couple years. Then he gets hurt. Then he's good. So we're in the couple year good part now coming up.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. And also, right, here's the thing as we debate, because I don't think they're bringing both back. If they brought both back, that would surprise me. But I've been wrong before, so maybe they will in terms of John Simpson and AVT. I think it's one or the other. And if we're like
Yes.
weighing them, who do we prefer? AVT's younger, and when he's healthy, he's great, but it's the when healthy part. John Simpson is more volatile. He has an intensity that you like, but there's penalty issues, and then he played worse this season. Do you now want to give him a long-term deal, whatever that looks like? AVT, if an injury happens, can go to other positions. I'm sure he doesn't love doing that, but that's sort of intriguing. So yeah, at this point, gun to my head, if I could only pick one, both are off a cliff, and I have to save one. I'm leaning AVT too.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
am.
think so too. Oh, thanks, Paul. I'll see you at the rebound.
There he is, Hep, joining us here on the program. Much appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaning AVT. I don't mind the center thing in the second round if there's a center worthy, and then have that guy compete with Josh Myers and then go to town. If we don't do like a Linderbaum thing in free agency, you get your best center you can in the draft. That guy competes with Josh Myers. If the rookie grabs it, phenomenal, and let's go to town. If Myers wins, great. Let the rookie continue to marinate behind the scenes. There's something to be said for that for sure. So, okay, great. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Here up next is Troy Sturgis. What's up, Troy?
Hey, BG, how you guys doing?
Hey, what do you got going on there? What's going on here, Troy? Walk us through give us the play-by-play here.
Just wiring in new plugs on old cords.
Okay,
That's what I got
cool.
going this morning. A
Okay.
little
All right, love
bit
it.
of work.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hey, anyway,
I respect it. Yeah. What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
what would you think about giving 3 first rounds and trying to trade up with Las Vegas? Do you think they would even be interested in that?
I was waiting for someone to ask this question because, man, I just love Fernando so much. But there's people in our audience either hate him or like Alon. He either hates him or just doesn't think he's worth it and thinks he's a mid quarterback. Boy, you got to make the call if you're the Jets. Why not? Just to see as we're going through. Like, what do you have to lose? You have the assets to pull this off. I'd be curious what it would take. What's the price? Like, again, I'm asking, I'm calling, and then I'm hearing it, and then I'm just probably thanks, hang up the phone and marinating on it. I'd be intrigued by it. I won't lie. I'd be intrigued by it. It may be reckless to do it, but I'd be intrigued by it.
I think it would probably take both our first rounds this year and maybe a first round next year. Might get their attention.
Probably, yeah.
But also, I think there's a lot of hate on Ryan this morning, but
yeah,
he kind of was without the trading opportunities. There was opportunities there to trade, I think, and you guys were just going right off the board. So
100%.
hopefully Muji has a better draft fall to him, and I think there will be some trading going on,
Yeah.
and possibly even moving our 33 into the first round.
Mm.
I think that's a possibility. And I did like the Trinidad pick in the second round, but I
Okay.
would have picked him at like 44.
Yeah, fair.
I don't think he would go before 44, but and if he did, I mean, there's also a Carson Beck there at 44 probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we got to have something to build. You know, whether
Uh,
like you said before, it's a second round pick, it's a dart throw,
mhm.
and you know, I will probably remember the pick. You'll probably remember the pick. Most of our Jets fans on this coffee club will remember that pick, but still, I mean, it's still a good deal out of that. So.
100%.
But anyway, um, just thought I'd share my thoughts, and I'll
Perfect.
see you guys later.
All right, sounds good, Troy. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're a working man, and I appreciate that. Just to sort of champion off some of those. We are going to. It's January 15th. What I hope to do is to bring on a variety of experts in their respective fields, where we have experts to talk about free agency, experts to talk about draft, and I want to play through scenarios today to make it candid for anyone, because right, like for instance, the content when I share out this image, right, the here's how Ryan Roberts did in the draft. We throw this image on the screen. People are going to have ticks, disgusting, or gross, or whatever, but the context of who was on the board and all these other things are going to get lost in this graphic naturally, and that's fine. That's part of the thing. Not everyone watches the full show to see what's going to happen here from this perspective, but we will do scenarios where trades are totally open. I will give the GM, if it's me doing a mock draft, which could totally happen and probably will happen several times this offseason, or an expert coming in, hey, if you want to trade, you could trade. Trade back from 2, trade up from this, do this, and go crazy. My dad, when he does his mock draft, he does all kinds of movement. He like says, he has his draft board in front of him. He's planning this, that, or the other. So that's all going to be available. We'll do that in the future. Excuse me, of having that available. But for context, that was not available today for Ryan. He had limited time. He could be with us for 30 minutes, and he was with us for a little longer than that. So thank you to Ryan. So he had no trade opportunity. He could have literally had trade opportunities. PFF does allow you to do that. But for our conversation, I told him we won't do it because of your limited time. So trades are not on the table, but we will have trade mock drafts in the future, I promise. Shout out again to the 500 people in the room. Again, I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. We have 150 people watching on YouTube, which we appreciate. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the show. Thank you. And we only have 50 likes, so there's 100 people watching the show right now that haven't liked the video. So like that video, folks, and spread the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily. That's how this Jet show gets in front of other Jet fans out in the audience. It's by you guys liking it and the algorithm feeding this Jet show to other Jet fans out in the universe. So that would be marvelous. So we're only a couple of subscribers away from 8,300 as well. So if you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, baby. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. Up next is Mr. Famous Fulton.
Morning, Paul.
What's up, Mr. Famous Fulton?
Not much. I have a haircut today, and I have music therapy today.
Oh, nice. Okay. What kind of haircut you going for? Mohawk?
Maybe. Probably go for it.
Go. Okay, there you go. Mix it up. That's always for the best.
So my mom and I talked about this. I know Fendo Mendoza is going to be in the draft. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he hasn't declared it officially, I suppose, but I fully expect him to enter the draft to be the number 1 overall pick. After, hopefully for you, he wins a natty coming up on Monday.
Yes, we're excited for that. It's going to be a wonderful experience to see Fendo Mendoza win the national championship for the first time.
For the Hoosiers, that'd be great. Hoosiers!
Hoosiers!
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, but I think he, unfortunately for you guys, I mean, hopefully delivers a natty before he goes at least. But yeah, I fully anticipate him entering the 2026 NFL draft, even though that's not official yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to one of the Harlem Hub Trobs this Saturday,
Oh, the
So
Harlem
yes,
Globetrotters. Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, great. Yeah. I don't
I
have a
haven't been there
picture.
yet.
It's in my living room. I used to do solo radio in Syracuse, and one of the Harlem Globetrotters came in and he showed me how to spin a basketball on my finger. I'd never done that in my life, so I have a picture of that. It's over on my wall. My fiance makes all these pictures of moments in our life. It's all over our living room wall. I'll have to show it to the Boy Green Espresso Club later. And there's a Harlem Globetrotter spinning. I've had like snakes, like big boa constrictors on my neck from the radio station. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that have happened. So, oh yeah, yeah. The Harlem
Yep.
Globetrotters are cool, so you'll really enjoy that.
Yeah, I sure will. I'll be live streaming on this Saturday at 2. So,
Oh, cool. Well, check it out on the YouTube channel. Yeah,
yep.
cool.
Well, I better get off here. I got to get some cleaning done. I got to
Yeah, sure.
do a lot of stuff, and then got to get ready for basketball practice because I've got a basketball game on the 25th in Batesville, Indiana.
Oh,
Hopefully it
terrific.
doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't snow on the 25th. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't
yeah,
want any snow for you. Well, good luck with your basketball game. Get a cool haircut, Mr. Famous Fulton, and I'm sure we'll check in again soon.
sounds great, Paul. Thank you.
Wait, one more time. Come on. You know what we have to do, Mr. Famous Fulton? There you go, Mr. Famous Fulton. You're the best, baby. Who says? I've never done that in my life until I met Mr. Famous Fulton. So, Mr. Famous Fulton. Mr. Famous Fulton joining us here on the program. Gator McCluskey, our guy in here, says if you're willing to give up multiple firsts to move up and get the unproven Fernando Mendoza, why not offer that for the proven Joe Burrow? You'll get a sure thing. I'm all if the Bengals want to move Joe Burrow, let's talk. Let's talk money, dollars and cents, as they say in Yes Man, the movie. I don't know how many people have ever quoted Yes Man with Jim Carrey, but there you go. Love that movie. Yeah, if Joe Burrow is available, let's talk. Let's talk dollars and cents if that's on the table. Mac Attack Mahar Khalil says, hit that like button if you're a diehard Jets fan. Come on now. Hit that like button, baby. Yes, spread the love here on the program. All right, let's head back to the phone lines. We got another OG, perhaps the OG. If there was a president of the OG fan club, it'd be this guy. It's Neil Sr. joining us here on the show. Neil?
Am I really an OG? I don't know, boy. I don't feel like an OG, but I know I am an OG. So anyway.
100%. You're the president of the OGs. You're the OGs. When people think about OGs, you're the OG at the head of the table.
All right. I guess I could take that mantra. It's fine.
There you go. What's on your mind? What's going on, man?
Anyhow, I'm not much of a draft guy, so I'm not really concerned too much about the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, whoever picks whoever, it's not going to be one thing versus the other. Everybody has their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But as we all know, the draft is basically a lottery. And, sometimes you get a guy that sticks out. I mean, we all would have been very smart if we all thought Puka Nacua was a great pick in the 5th round. And now he's one of the best receivers in the game. So we never know. We never know who's what and what's what. My thought, I don't want to go into, I'm thoroughly disgusted with the whole coaching situation.
Yes,
The Jets have taken all my energy and sapped it from me, not changing, having all these great coaches available and us sitting there with Aaron Glenn. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But as far as the plan goes,
yeah,
I agree with Gator, and that is, look, if you're going to give up a lot of draft capital for Mendoza, you might as well shoot for something much bigger. And I really think Aaron Glenn's plan is to get a quarterback now so he could save his job because, I'm so glad Dante Moore didn't come out because that would have been a desperation pick. The kid's obviously not ready. He knows he's not ready. That's why he didn't declare. So that's basically water under the bridge. As far as Mendoza goes, the Raiders, don't they have Geno Smith still under contract?
Yeah, they signed him to a $75 million deal.
Yeah, I don't think a new coach is going to be so quick, to toss Geno Smith aside for Mendoza and start something with him. I think the Raiders would be willing to move that pick. And, they're interested in getting a lot of players. They have a lot of needs like we do. And if they were able to get something in return for Mendoza. A first, our first, maybe a third round and a first round next year. Nothing that's going to be dramatic, but
Mhm.
in reality, Mendoza could be a franchise quarterback, and at least with him, you could throw him in day one, and he's going to win a few games for you. I mean, at least that part of it would be, logically a logical thing to assume. But assuming
Yeah.
that we can't get him,
Mhm.
we're most probably, I've been talking about Kyler Murray for a while. Most likely, we're going to do a pick swap. If they don't want to release him, I mean, as bad as a lot of people hate Kyler Murray because he likes to play video games. Everybody questions his dedication, et cetera, et cetera. He does need a clean slate. He does have a similar skill set to Justin Fields. The only difference is he could throw the ball and he's not afraid to run. And he could run. I mean, he was clocked at 22 miles an hour on a run. So he's probably the fastest quarterback in the league without question. So, and again, he
Mhm.
came out as a rookie, he took a team to the playoffs. So he's not he of all the bridge guys, Paul, wouldn't you say that he's probably, if you lined them all up, wouldn't that be the best option if you had to choose?
And who's that you said?
I said, if you had to take all the bridge quarterbacks that are
Yeah.
possible to get and line them
Mhm.
all up, wouldn't you pick Kyler Murray number one? Do you have any other bridge that you thought would be better to win now?
Kyler's up there.
Who is? Who?
Kyler. I'm agreeing with you. I think
Well,
Kyler Murray
who
is up
else?
there.
Let me ask you a question. Who else is going to get you moderately excited and run the possibility of, he's young. He has a possibility. Look, anybody, Mariota, and these guys are all done. Okay.
Yeah, this guy doesn't excite me, but he's one that's getting talked about a lot. Mac Jones, a
Oh
trade for
no,
Mac
I like.
Jones.
Hey, listen, I like Matt Jones. Okay.
Okay.
The only problem is you'd have to give up draft capital for Mac Jones.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I mean, Murray. If we accept his contract, and what is his contract, Paul? Could you hit that up? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's $230 million is what he signed, and
What's his
there's
yearly salary? What is it yearly?
it's 35 million.
35 million. Okay.
Yeah, so what's
So
going to likely happen is he's either going to get cut and the Cardinals are forced to eat it, or the Jets would have to give up like a 7th-round pick. I don't see whoever acquires Kyler Murray if he gets traded. I don't think the compensation is going to be anything. Like for Mac, you're going to have to give up something serious for Mac because
you're
he's
not going to
making
give up
2
anything.
million or 3 million or something.
Quite the opposite with Kyler Murray. To
Right.
eat that contract, they're going to give us draft capital. So
Yeah, sure.
don't.
Right.
We're going to get additional draft capital to take Murray. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Right.
35 million in salary, I don't care about spending Woody Johnson's goddamn money. I don't care. Okay? I want to spend as much of his money as possible. I'm not here to save money for Woody Johnson. That's not what the Jet fan should be thinking about right now because he's ripping us the hell off right now, okay? So pay 35 million for Kyler Murray, get a draft pick for him. They'll give you, instead of dropping him, and they're going to have to eat what, 35 million if they get rid of him?
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's $35 million. Hey, guess what? Give us your first round pick or a second round pick. Give us at least 2 or 3 picks. We'll take on his contract. Then use those 2 or 3 picks, package 2 or 3 trades, and go 2 or 3 other picks, and go get Mendoza. Now you got Mendoza and you got Kyler Murray. I mean,
Okay.
what's the matter with that move?
I like that move.
All right. So now you created 2 situations. Mendoza should not be starting game 1. You bring in Kyler Murray. We have a good offense. You'll still have some draft capital left. But the reality is we have $120 million in cap space. We could go out there. Look, the Patriots took their cap money last year and they invested it in the defense.
Yeah.
And they took a defense that was mediocre and they turned it into a top 5 defense. Now,
Right.
if I'm Woody Johnson or if I'm Aaron Glenn, right? I go to a defensive coordinator like Wink Martindale or somebody, because understand something. Not a lot of defensive coordinators are going to want to come here knowing that the coach is instantly on the hot seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I said to a defensive coordinator, I said, look, I'm going to take, here's what our plan is. We're going to get Kyler Murray and we're going to get Mendoza. We have the offense set. We don't need a lot on the offense. We're going to use all of our free agent money, and you're going to help us take the best free agents on the defensive side of the ball that are experienced. And we're going to have you turn us into a top 5 defense, and we're going to have 2 really good quarterbacks. One that could be a franchise with Mendoza. Maybe Kyler Murray has a resurgence. Maybe he realizes he's got to stop playing video games and he matured a little bit and knows that this is his. You got to realize something. Kyle Murray has talent. Can't
Sure.
deny that, right, Paul?
Yeah, no, he definitely does.
Kid is hugely talented, all right? The only problem with Kyler Murray is between his ears, all right? So if he dummies up, realizes this could be his last stop, comes into the system, we already Tyler Angstrom has the offensive scheme tailored for Kyle Murray. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So we bring Kyler Murray in. Let's say it's a colossal fail.
Yeah.
All right. And we're 1-5 and Woody pulls the plug. Now we're going to be attractive to a head coach because we have Mendoza. We bring Mendoza in, see how it goes for the rest of the year, give him some seasoning, and then we have 3 picks in the front in 27 to bring on Tomlin or somebody that's a legitimate coach going forward. It's a win-win situation. So again, you take the draft capital the Cardinals will give you to take on Kyler Murray's contract because that is going to be more draft capital. Use that draft capital and a first rounder next year. You still have 2 first rounders. Use our first rounder this year. Maybe throw in a 4th round or a 3rd round, maybe even a 2nd round. And let's go after Mendoza because the Raiders can run it back with Geno. I mean, if I'm a coach coming in, what do I want to do? You think Mendoza is going to outperform Geno in the preseason and during camp? I don't think so. Geno is a good quarterback. He's not a schlep. All right. Or with the Raiders, give the Raiders. Well, you can't give the Raiders a lot for Geno Smith because then if we take them and Mendoza, then we leave the bear in the cupboard. So that's not an option. So that's just my take. So you got to go big. Take Kyler as a bridge. I know a lot of people don't love the guy, but in reality, he's going to win some games for you. If he makes a resurgence and he turns into a Geno Smith or maybe a Sam Darnold, maybe we have something with Kyler. If not, we still get Mendoza because we use the Cardinals draft capital to relieve them of that $35 million a year contract. And then we'll worry about it next year. If Kyler Murray's a bust, Mendoza ends up coming in, who gives a crap? You get rid of Kyler Murray, make Kyler Murray compete with Mendoza. If he loses the competition, use him as trade bait next year for somebody else. That's it. Everybody's going to want Kyle Murray at some point or another because he's the best of the shit, okay? He's the least smelliest shit that we could have right now.
It feels that way. Wow. So Neil just solved the Jets. He just fixed the Jets. Boom. Wow. Okay. That was compelling. Some super chats that are coming in here on the show. Mr. Chill 211 King.
Wow.
What I can appreciate about Dante going back to school is that there's no help coming to save AG. He would truly have to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Wow. That's quite a way to put it, Mr. Chill 211 King. Appreciate that. We have another super chat. I see it's coming from Bahar Khalil. That gets you 7 raffle tickets. I just want to give an update here to Mr. Chill 211 King. You're at 5 raffle tickets. Just want to give updates live on the show. The one I've heard this from some Jet fans celebrating that Dante Moore went back to school, saying, perfect. Dante Moore wasn't ready. And that helps, like we avoid doing a Zach Wilson is what I heard a lot of people saying. I I'm not naive enough to say that I understand that if the Jets had an awful record next year in 2026, and whoever their plan A was, again, Kyler Murray or Mac Jones, whoever the guy is, and that person wasn't performing up to snuff, the AG could feel pressure to play the rookie. In theory, it would have been Dante Moore before he was ready. Yes, that reality was possible, and I think that would have been terrible if that situation would have played out that way. So the fact that there appears to not be a quarterback that fits that mold for the Jets, it's certainly second overall. That part you could feel good about if you're a Jets fan, I suppose. But still, not having a quarterback, and they don't right now, or any immediate path to get one, that's where it's tough. But again, go back to my food analogies. Our parents wanted us to eat veggies when we were a kid, and they taste disgusting. And I don't even eat veggies now. Screw veggies. I will die early, I guess. But but eating veggies is supposed to, it tastes like crap, but it's supposed to be better for you. Not having a quarterback now and having to build out the rest of rosters eating your veggies, it's not as sexy, but maybe that leads to better things down the road. So hopefully that's what happens here. But yes, we'll see. Again, there's a lot of rabbit being pulled out of hats or asses around here because how did the coaching staff changes happen, which we've talked about? What's the solution at quarterback? Justin Fields was an epic disaster. So there is an inherent amount of pressure on AG to, hey, you fucked up quarterback last year. Now what's your quarterback plan? You better have a good answer or he will soon be without a job. So Mr. Chill 211 King, the majority of your points are well founded. Let's go to Mahar. Mac Attack here.
Wow.
Don't trade up! Exclamation point. Raiders won't go quarterback at number 1 overall. That would be, if they don't go quarterback at number 1 overall, I mean, that would be stunning in this kind of class where there doesn't, it's not like it's a quarterback class where there's like Joe Burrow or Myles Garrett. Like, if we don't go Joe Burrow, we got Myles Garrett sitting here. There doesn't appear like Arvell Reese seems really good by all accounts, but he just doesn't have the Myles Garrett sort of resume. And I'm not talking about the NFL, I'm talking about college of wow, he is this unquestioned non-quarterback number 1 overall pick. There's no, like for the Raiders right now, it's not Fernando Mendoza or Arvell Reese. That conversation has not sprung up. So it would be stunning if they don't go quarterback. But sometimes crazy crap happens in the draft. Maybe the Jets are going to get incredibly lucky. We'll see, Mac. But advocates no trade up. No Jets Raiders trade up here. He says none of that happening here on the show. Jamal says, how we get Mendoza? Well, Neil's whole point was that we would take Kyler Murray from the Cardinals and they would give us draft picks that we would then turn around and give those draft picks to the Raiders, and the Raiders want Geno Smith. I don't know. I was a little confused there, but that again, I don't think the Raiders trade Mendoza. So that part of it, I just I'm not sure. I want to believe Neil. I want him to be right. I just don't know if that would be right, but I respect it. I respect it. Back to the phone lines, Frankie.
Morning, BJ. How you doing?
Man, top of the morning to you.
Thank God baseball season starts, and thank God I got the Big East college basketball because
see, there you go. We got some things coming up.
Exactly. I think this team. I like. I called in late. I saw the draft after you guys picked it. I know there was no trading back or anything. I like the first pick. I'm not a Chambliss fan, so I'm not crazy about him.
Sure.
Nor do I think we should even. Consider. Maybe very late rounds, consider a flyer quarterback. But this team has too many holes. So I honestly think that I'm not advocating for trading 3 picks to the Raiders. I'm not advocating for trading 3 picks for Burrow because there's just too many holes on this team, and I just think we should just stand steady. I agree with Reese. It's a very good pick. Try to trade the second pick, even possibly the third um, for additional picks, and just try to rebuild this team. I think it needs a total rebuild. The thing I don't like is what Woody said, and then I'll explain what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Woody came out. Woody came out, I guess, last week or whatever it was, and he's extremely disappointed. He didn't say, "I believe in Glenn, I believe in Muji and what they're doing," and I believe, I believe that we have trade capital I mean, we have draft capital, we have salary cap capital. He didn't say any of that. All he said was, once again, disappointed and just needs to be better, blah, blah, blah. The
Real
reason is,
quick, Frankie, has Woody directly spoke with anyone? If so, I totally missed it. The only one I heard from Woody, and it wasn't directly from Woody, it was from Rich Samiti in his podcast. He said from his people that he knows that Woody was pissed off, and he gave sort of some of these quotes and
I
stuff, and I've
actually,
seen a lot of us.
I thought I heard it on
Oh, okay.
on a podcast, just saying that he was very pissed off. That's what he said. He didn't
Oh,
give
okay.
any. In other words, my main point here, Paul,
Sure,
is
sure.
he didn't confirm. Oh yeah, I believe in Glenn and Muji and what they're doing. That's my main point.
I see.
Nothing, whether it's through Rich or whether it's his own voice saying that. All he said was extremely disappointed, and we got this is not acceptable. Whatever, not acceptable. Okay, this is what bothers me about him even saying anything.
Yeah.
It's gonna make people feel that whether you like Glenn or not, okay, whether
Mhm.
and I'm kind of lukewarm to him, to be honest with you.
Sure. Yeah.
But whether you think he should be the coach or shouldn't be the coach, who would want to come here with a kind of lame deck coach? You don't know what's going to happen, and that's
Right.
problem number one. Problem number two is he might be forced into doing something he doesn't necessarily want to do, which I think somebody else said that as well. Like, just put in a quarterback who should, like, if we did get, um, Dante, if he had come out, he would, I would have advocated, don't even, he never sees the field for another year or two.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
probably would have put him in. So that really concerns me. Um, I don't know your thoughts. I just think that it's going to be hard to rebuild. I think we have a like I think it was Hep said it. We're not in a 1 year rebuild here. We are in a 3 year, 4 year
Uh,
rebuild, and I'm sorry if people don't want to hear that. Okay,
I
it's
don't want to hear that. I'm going to be very
if you
honest. I
think
don't want
we're
to hear
going to
that at
win,
all.
if I mean, unless something really weird happens in free agency in the draft, I mean, okay, I'm look, I just don't see it. Okay, and I'm with Alon, who's like and Hap, like we got a 3 4 year rebuild here, and if you're not allowing and staying as an owner, giving confidence, then like who's going to want to come here in a very what I call unstable environment? I just don't like. I don't get it. I don't understand how Woody works. I really don't, because he first came out when they hired him and said, "These are my guys."
Yep.
Okay, fine. We had a shitty season, but anybody who thought we were going to win 13 games, sorry, is insane. Okay, and I thought, and by the way, I picked about 8 games, and I feel like a moron picking 8 games.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay,
Right.
that's how bad
Right.
I feel like an idiot. I thought I said, how that? Now you watch a team play, you're like this team ain't
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
win
Yeah.
win any games. But that being said, I'm not seeing like a 1 year rebuild, which is what Hep said. I don't feel confident that Woody won't do something stupid and Glenn won't do something stupid to save his
Sure.
job. And what I mean by something stupid is, okay, trade everything for Joe Burrow. Well,
Right. Right.
okay, we're like you said, we're gonna instead of losing games 35 or 40-7, we're gonna lose games 60-50 or 60
Yeah.
to 40. And who the hell cares?
Hmm.
Anyway, those are my points. The other thing is, how far do you think we could go to get Love? Like, how far back could we? Like, how far would he? No, better question. Sorry, how far could he drop? Do you think could we move up
Yeah.
on our 16th pick and get him somehow?
Oh, for sure. And I would be interested in doing that. Again, there's these pivot points of like Chiefs at 9 and Vikings they're at like 12. If I'm the Jets, I strongly consider it. And then you just get this stud player that everyone's saying is blue chip player. Let's
Right,
get as many blue chip play. I don't give a shit what position they play. Let's get as
right.
many of
That's how
those
I
on the
look
team as
at it.
possible, and let's just try to win games. So,
I
oh
agree with
yeah,
that. I want the best available player, and
yeah,
if we can somehow move up and get Love, and we're not going to sign again, we have to see what happens with Brees. Obviously, we don't know
yeah,
what's going
right.
to happen. But anyway, those are my points.
I
Love them
appreciate
or
it.
hate them, whatever.
That's it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate it. Yeah, I would just say this on Woody real quick. We'll answer a few super chats, and then we got to end the show. But um, I think I understand the two things of Woody here. Wow, that's very difficult. So if Woody came out after the season and emphatically said, "Guys, shut up. Well, I'm not getting rid of AG. AG's my guy, so get lost." The fact So he could have done that, or did what he's done, which is nothing. Again, there's only been stuff through Rich and other people that he's pissed off, but he believes in the guys, but that's it. So if you come out and give that thing of like stepping out, you're admitting that you're hearing the noise that people think AG should be fired. And thus, by you coming out and saying it, you felt so compelled by the noise that you wanted to say something. And that says something when coming off of year one to a 5-year deal, you have to come out and say something about your coach. Rich indicated that would be like, yikes, that'd be a red flag. Or the opposite, right? You say nothing and you let it sort of simmer and marinate. And now fans are like, what the hell's going on? Do they believe? Do they not? And for the coordinators, all the hires they're going to be doing. So I understand that perspective as well. Couple of super chats here.
Wow.
Fighter Jet, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. No Dante will hasten AG getting fired next year, please. Yeah, and not having a quarterback answer. Again, I bring up Arthur Smith all the time in Atlanta. He never had a quarterback, never even had a president of a quarterback on the roster that said, "Hey, I could go to that guy at any time," and he ended up getting fired. So yes, that is real truth there without a quarterback possibility. Trackhawks ATL with the super chat coming in.
Wow.
Please stop with this Mendoza crap. Draft those Canes, whatever position you want. Offense and defense, let's go, people. Yeah, Ruben Bain is going to get some love. We'll see your boy Carson Beck potentially. So, again, the Jets are likely going to be force-fed to build out the rest of this roster, which they need help in. I would have loved a quarterback, of course, but hey, man, there's something to be said for building out the rest of the roster. So, Trackhawks ATL says, you get some more Miami Hurricanes on the team. All right, that makes sense.
Wow.
Member for 11 months, Trackhawks ATL. Wide receivers, OSU, right? They're wide receiver U. Penn State, they're RBU. Miami, we're everything U. That's funny. Shout out to Trackhawks ATL. That's a good one. Hey, good luck to your Canes in the Natty, man. Good luck to your Canes in the Natty. As we're wrapping up the show here, John Harbaugh is getting a 5-year, $100 million deal from the Giants, which will make him one of the highest paid coaches in NFL history. So shout out to John Harbaugh. Congratulations to the Giants and everybody for getting it done. Thank you to the 600 people that are in the room. On the way out, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. I'm going to go record some other interviews, but we'll be back at 3 o'clock for Boy Green Meets Woody here on a Thursday. And again, we'll put out our mock draft where you guys can yell about it, how you feel about the mock drafts. Feel free to do that as well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. JETS, Jets.